Welcome. My name's Liz Rowlingson, property journalist. I work for Place in the Sun. You've probably been watching some of our TV episodes, and I've got here Wendy and Lee. Welcome, guys, who have appeared on our TV series in August. I'm not, if you didn't catch it, you might be able to get it on catch up or available on our website. But to recap, Wendy and Lee, they were looking to move to Spain, and they had a budget of £150, looking for a 4-bedroom property for their family, and in the sort of the inland Costa Blanca area, which we'll hear about in a bit more in a minute. But first of all, I mean, they filmed in 2019, October 2019, and I mean, gosh, what a lot has happened since then. So, and the TV, as I said, went out in August. So, what happened? I don't think you're in Spain at the moment, but are you in Manchester?
Yeah, we're in Manchester at the moment.
So that might be a slight spoiler, but we'll talk about what did happen. So, Wendy and Lee, can you just, for people who haven't seen the TV series or for a bit, just tell us a bit about your background and why you decided you wanted to move to Spain?
It's something that we've been looking at for quite a number of years, and then if you've seen the programme, I was diagnosed with breast cancer 5 years ago, and then I was given the all clear 3 years later, and then I was told that I had breast cancer again. It reoccurred. So I'm still in remission 2 years later. So Lee and I decided it was now or never, really. So we sat down, spoke to Leah and Kai, our son and daughter, and we just made the decision that we wanted to go to Spain.
Brilliant. And you're a teacher, aren't you, Wendy?
Yes.
And Lee, you're a carpenter, is that right?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. And how old are Lee and Kaya? Kai, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Leah is she's 17 now, and she's 18 in March, and Kai is 15 and he's 16 in July.
Brilliant. Okay, so tell me, had you started sort of hunting around? Had you been? I mean, why did you choose the? How did you hone in on that area of the inland Costa Blanca?
Well, it was by fluke, really. We did about 12 months of just looking around Spain like you do on the housing sites and stuff like that. And then one day, Wendy spotted a house right in the middle of the nowhere that had been on the market for about 3 or 4 years. And it was an architect built. It was a one-off, and she fell in love with it. So we pursued that, and we couldn't afford it, really, because I think it was about €175,000. So we did put an offer in on it. Anyway, we got turned down, and it got subsequently sold. But the area it was in was Pinoso, inland, Costa Blanca. And it's from that area, it just developed from there. We looked at the area and we read about it. It said it's quite a nice, affluent area. It's quiet, mixed bag of expats and Spanish. Plenty of work opportunities, very cultural, good shopping shops and everything. And that was it. We didn't need to look anywhere further, really. So we just started from that one seed. It just sort of grew and grew and grew. And that's the only area that we ever looked at, basically.
Brilliant. How long would it take you to get there from Alicante airport, is it?
Yeah, from Alicante, 35, 40 minutes. Drive straight on the motorway, and it's basically straight there to our house. So it's 35-minute drive to Alicante airport. We've done that quite a few times. So yeah.
Okay, and the plan was basically to get a 4-bedroom house so that you could all move out together.
Yeah. We wanted a bit of space, because we wanted a spare bedroom just in case of visitors, make it an office as well. So we did need 4 bedrooms, ideally 2 or 3 bathrooms maybe, or something like that. And that was on our criteria. Right? The only other thing was plenty of land and maybe the odd outbuilding or two. And that was the only criteria that we had, basically.
We didn't even ask for a swimming pool. That was not really up on our criteria. It was just somewhere in rural Spain, so we could immerse ourselves into the culture. We didn't want to be near the sea, really, because we're going there to live and work. And then we were shown the different areas in and around Pinoso. you know, and we were looking at the different areas from so outwards really.
And how did you end up? I'm going to take a punt that you might have gone to our exhibition in Manchester and done a screen test to appear on the show. Is that what? Tell us, is that what happened?
Well, it is, yeah. But Wendy, there is a bit of a backstory to it. So Wendy, I'll just talk you briefly through it.
Yeah, we originally applied for the show 2 years ago, and then I had an email from one of the Siobhan O'Gorman saying that there'd been some issues with regards to emails, and our information may have been leaked. So we didn't really bother then. We just thought, well, we're not applying again. Anyway, we just happened to be at the Manchester show 2 years later, and we did a screen test, and thought nothing of it. So then when we got the email and a phone call to say we were interested in you coming to the show, we were like, is this real? We didn't even think it was real. We just thought it was, somebody like, conning us or anything. And then suddenly we had somebody visiting us, and then we had the tickets sent. And I said to like, this is really happening. This isn't something like a spam or anything. This is really happening. So it all stemmed from 2 years ago, trying to apply, and then obviously we just went for the screen test, not even thinking anything would come about it, because at the actual show there were folders and folders of everybody applying, and there was a huge amount of people doing a screen test that we just sort of like didn't think anything of it. If it's meant to be, it'll be meant to be. And then we got the call, and then here we are now.
Well, you must have, impressed and got on the shortlist. So the filming, you went out in October 2019, and you to recap on the show, you obviously saw the 5 properties, and there was some lovely swimming pools, which Wendy, you got rather emotional about, and it's some fabulous properties though. What you get for your money. Brilliant. So you fell in love with, I think, number 3 and number 5 particularly, and then you went for number 3, didn't you? And you put in an offer. So tell us what happened then.
Well, we had a look around, and like I say, we found the 2 properties. We had a sleepless night, didn't we? And we got on really well with the property owner from number 3. She was selling it, and she was still in the property. So we built up instantly a good rapport with her. So that was good. She was really helpful. And one of the things that swung it is we had 100, like you do, you have 100 questions, and we could actually direct them to her straight away and get an answer straight away.
Oh gosh.
That was amazing. That was like, it's like buying a house over here. You speak to the homeowner, and then that was key to it. That was key to one of the decisions, really.
Was that during the between the shoots? So like during the filming?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realise that often happened.
When we were told that it was a private sale, we were possibly a little bit concerned, obviously, because then it would, after the show, we'd have to deal with the actual owner. But she was absolutely fabulous. She was on the end of the phone. If anybody was to worry about buying a property from an actual owner rather than going through a company, the right person, she was fabulous. She equipped us with all the information. She was sending us pictures. We felt like we were already at the home, even though we weren't there.
Wow.
We put the offer in October. We were unable to get over to exchange contracts till February because of obviously, Lee's work and everything. So we needed to be there to sign. And she was really good. She waited until February, and then we went and signed for it. So yeah, that was worrying at first with it being private, but she was really, really good. I can't commend her enough.
Well, buying direct from a vendor, assuming they're very helpful and on it, it can save you. You don't have to pay estate agent fees, or and that's obviously comes into the price somewhere. And also, you can deal direct, and it can be quicker. So that's great. So, and was she British or Spanish?
No, she was actually Swedish.
Okay.
Believe it or not, but her English was, it was perfect, and it made it a lot easier because we needed a question about anything about utilities or water or bills or information. We just picked up the phone and rang her, and she told us there and then. which was amazing. Rather than going through solicitors and agents and vendors, it's rather going through the whole rigmarole, getting a question. We just rang her up there and then. She gave us the answer straight away.
We did go through solicitors though. So after the show,
Yes.
we actually approached the solicitor, because on the show we actually met with a lady that was already there from England. She had a
Yes.
group there, so we kept in communication with her as well. So she guided us as well for the sale of the house, and she recommended a solicitor, and every single thing that it was Janet Lee's. She works as part of the foreign exchange over in Penoso, and she was a real asset to us in order to help us to look for places and look for all things what we needed to do when we move over there.
That's brilliant. You sort of lucked out in terms of the people involved in your purchase. So so obviously you did the right thing, used a lawyer, and then you've got purchase taxes on top. So how much in all did your home purchase come to?
Well, I can't remember the actual offer we made now.
I think it was 136. I think we got turned down 1,000 sterling, and I think she rejected that, and I think we upped it to 139.5, I think, pounds sterling, and she accepted that. I think she initially wanted 149,000 sterling, I think. So I think we got it for about £10,000 cheaper, didn't we? I think.
Can I just ask,
do you
need me to look properly and give you?
No. I just to give people because I mean the purchase fees are often sort of 12-14%. So it's just to give people an idea of sort of how much you end up paying.
Our initial budget was 150,000, and obviously we had a little bit of leeway because we obviously knew about the on cost. We'd researched that. So when we actually looked at all the different properties, every single property was in our budget. When we made the offer, we went quite low, and obviously she didn't agree to that offer, so we upped our offer. In all, the offer that we made was still on, with the extra cost, was still under the 150,000 British sterling.
Brilliant. So it went through in the end in February. You said in
February, yeah.
Just before the whole world closed down, nearly.
Quite literally, yeah. Like I say, the vendor held on to it for about 4 or 5 months for us because she did want a quick sale. That's why she put it as quite a low price. But she said, we were going to offer it. We want the house. We've got the money. And she said, right, well, I'll hold on to it for you. I'll keep hold of it for you. She could have sold it, beforehand, but she held on until February, and then we went over, met with her. And obviously went to the notary and met the solicitor and everything and exchanged contracts.
Brilliant. So that was in the nick of time, so to speak. But then, of course, you were wanting to move there. So at that point, were you trying to set in motion your sort of, moving over, or had you a kind of a sense at that time that it wasn't going to happen?
We initially was looking to move over around about July 2021, because what we wanted to do is we wanted to move over when obviously our son had finished school.
Okay.
He was in year 11. He's in year 11 now, and then we would look for him to start college when we went over to the house. Our daughter is in second year at college, so therefore she would start university. So the reason why we decided not to move until round about July 2021 is when both of the children had finished their education in England and were looking to transition into the next education step. So that's where we had our mindset on. We needed to move, sell the house in the UK and move over in July 2021.
Gosh, all right. So that's good in a way that you kind of your whole plan wasn't completely disrupted.
No.
But obviously you haven't been able to get over as much as you'd hoped. So
the plan was obviously to spend a lot more time over there. Spend the whole summer there and go over there for weekends and stuff, and the odd week here and there. But we just haven't been able to do that. We've been over twice since we bought the property. So did
you manage to go over in the summer?
We spent the summer there. We spent August there. We spent the whole of August there.
Lovely.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we went.
And then we were due to go. We wanted to go back sort of, October, November, but I couldn't go because of the, self-isolation when you go back. Weeks from work and stuff like that. And then Christmas came, of course, and then we couldn't get out at Christmas. And then, so we just haven't been able to get over and make use of what the house like we wanted to do.
But
so,
you've got it, and what? Tell me, have you loved? Has it been as wonderful as when you first saw it? And what have you discovered? Any wonderful things more about it or the area? Tell us about what's happened after.
When we signed for it in February, it was raining. I think when we actually looked at the property, it was raining.
Yeah.
So I've only ever seen it in the rain. So when we went over for the whole of August, it was in the sun and it was absolutely perfect. Everything about it. When we first saw it and we saw the huge drive, we couldn't believe that was a property that they were showing us for our money. And we got a chance to have a look at everything. Lee never ever has had a pool, never ever have we understood how to maintain a pool. So we spent the time in August where Lee was maintaining a pool. We had a chance to be able to go and look at Monavar and also the area around, all the different areas, Elder, Alicante. We spent a lot of time in those that month in August, looking around all of the area. And it was a little bit sad, really, that we had to come home at the end of August. We wanted to stay there. There's things that we need to do with it. There's a lot of things with it because the garden is huge. But yeah, in the August time, we spent a lot of time there and we got to know everything in the markets. And it was so lovely to go to Alicante and the beach. It was lovely having everything at your doorstep, really.
I think Alicante City, the beaches in the city are meant to be quite nice. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, they're brilliant. Yeah, I mean, we're 50 minutes here from the nearest coast, so we're actually closer over there to the coastline. So if you jump in the car in 40 minutes, you're on the beach in the sea. So and that's just about what we wanted. We don't want to be right on the coast. We want to be further inland where your money goes further. You can get a bigger property, more land. And if you want to go to the beach, or you can go to Benidorm in an hour, or you can go to Alicante in 40 minutes, you can just jump in the car down the motorway and you're there in no time at all.
Oh, and what about I mean, it's a rural property. Are you worried? Can you get anyone to keep an eye on it when you've been away for these long periods, or do you feel completely relaxed about it?
We've got insurance. We found an insurance company, and the gentleman there is fabulous. He's amazing. And we have we've got certain builders that we know. We have a builder who he's got a key to the gate, and we actually purchased a cover for the pool, and therefore he sorted all the pool out and he does all that. We didn't feel that we needed to have anybody to watch it because obviously the idea was we were going to end up going every 3 months. We have the internet. So obviously when we were going at Christmas, I was going to set it up so that we could have the cameras. So even though we're in Manchester, we could still look at what was going on. So we have certain people that we can ask and, to look at the property and keep their eye on it.
Okay, and what did the Swedish lady leave her furniture, or did you have to buy stuff or ship stuff over?
Well, a bit of both, really. She took the majority of it, but she did leave some stuff. She left, and then we bought a few bits off her. We bought a suite off her, a washing machine, bits and pieces and stuff. And other stuff she left. She left the bed frames and stuff like that. Fridge, potted plants and that. So she left. It was half and half, really. So it's part furnished when we bought the place.
We've already done one. We hired a van from a local company here in the UK. So we've already sent over a lot of van stuff, so that when we went over in August, we had everything there. So again, that was recommendation from people as to who to hire. So when we went over in August, we had the vast majority of the house over there, and now obviously when we move over finally in July, we've just got the other half of the house to take over with us.
And in when you were there in August, was it sort of quite relaxed? Were there many restrictions because it was still, during the pandemic? Will you have a lot of freedom?
There were restrictions, but we didn't feel any.
We felt safe.
We felt safer. We felt safer over there. Yeah. And I did at Christmas, funnily enough, when I went over, than I do here.
Yeah.
Because even though the restrictions are tighter, everybody there conforms to them. Everybody just treats it like it's the norm, which it is over there. So there's no breaking of the rules. There's no arguing. There's no fussing. Everybody wears a mask 24 hours a day outside their property, and it just everybody conforms, and it's just the norm. So you don't feel any different than where over in the UK. It's a bit restricted. You feel like you're being restricted, but over there you are still restricted. And we have free movement in August as well, so we could go wherever we want.
Yeah.
Restrictions on movement, so we didn't feel really very much. There was wear a face mask indoors in when they went to shops and stuff, but that's the only thing. We didn't really feel the effects of any sort of lockdown in August.
So your plan is it still July?
Yeah. Still, well, we've got to sell the house, put the house on the market sort of in the next 4 to 6 weeks. The housing market's quite good. Nice property, so fingers crossed that will go.
We do have one problem though. In March, our daughter's 18, and we wanted her to apply to Alicante University because she wants to do law.
Right.
She doesn't want to come now. She wants to stay here. She's applied to universities and got accepted in university in the UK. So I'm sad that she doesn't want to come over. So there's just the three of us, and obviously the dogs and the parrot, because she wants to stay in the UK. So we're looking at it. May well be that Lee would like to go over at Easter. Obviously, with everything what's happening in education, it may be that our son can go over as well and do remote learning, or it may be that he goes over in July. I'm going to then follow over possibly September, so that obviously our daughter is settled at campus, not in Alicante, but obviously here. And then obviously Christmas, we're hoping that we're over at Christmas, even with Leah, our daughter, and that'll be the first Christmas in the house all together as a family.
Oh wow, gosh. So as far as the sort of the practice, it's very difficult for you to plan, isn't it? This would have been so easy 2 years ago to sort of, book your flights, book the van, everything, and sort out your residency. So what are your what's your plan as far as applying for residency when you go over?
Well, we're going to do it. I went over at Christmas, and I started the residency. I've, did the driving licenses, got the digital certificate, done all the paperwork and that. But we can't do any more because you physically have to be there. And even when I was over there, I had to book appointments 3 or 4 weeks in advance because there is that many people doing it, and everybody wants appointments. There's thousands of people doing it. Thousands of people wanting it and only half the people working. So it's the perfect storm, basically. And we were just reading forums on a daily basis. I can't get out. Do you need this? Do you need that? And the answers are all the same. Unless you've got the residency, unless you've got officially there, nobody can go to Spain at the moment. And that's a frustrating thing. You can't get over there to do anything, but you need everything done to get over there. So it's catch-22.
So what's your perception about what what criteria, now that we're out of the EU, what are the criteria that you need to fulfill to be able to become a resident?
Well, obviously we keep in communication with the lady that was actually on the programme, and she keeps us up to date. It's changing, and we do have daily updates to what we get emailed to us, in the sense that there's certain things like you've got to show that you have a bank account. You've got to show
a certain amount in the bank account.
Got to have a certain amount in your bank account. It's got to be there for so long. You've got to be showing that you've been paying your utility bills for so long.
Sorry, we've got a clock in the background chirping away there.
You've got to be paying utility bills for so long, which we have been doing, because we've been paying the water and the electric, and for nearly 12 months. And then you've got to have your savings in the bank.
See, we're going over to work, so we're not retiring. So it's things like, the thing that we've got to look at is whether we go over there and we find work, or we go self-employed.
Yes.
If you go over and you find work, then you can look at sort of like the healthcare with regards to the Spanish healthcare, because you then got a contract. If you are going over there doing some sort of like self-employment, then you've got to buy private health insurance. You know, there's a lot of changes. It's not as easy as it was before Brexit. There's a lot more changes, but like I said, we own the property since February, and we have a bank account in Spain, and we've been running the house, albeit the bills are very low because nobody's there. So we've already shown that we're doing that. The ironic thing is that we were planning to go in December. We had appointments at the town hall for the padron and to get our TIE. Unfortunately, Lee flew out a little bit earlier. I stayed because of obviously the children were still in school. Lee got over there. However, when we were due to fly out on Christmas Eve, the Spanish restrictions were in place and we were unable to fly over, even though we had 6-7 different appointments in order to get our residency and get our, it's called the TIE, and get everything. They wouldn't let us pass the Spanish border and fly out. So unfortunately, Lee's process is halfway through. We haven't started our process yet. So
okay.
to look at applying. We've got what we call the NIE numbers. So
yes,
Steph is getting obviously the residency in order to be able to work over there and set up and apply for Spanish residency as well.
Yeah, you might have to. I think private healthcare in Spain is a bit more affordable than it is in the UK, from what I gather. And a couple in their 50s I interviewed who'd moved out to Spain a year or so ago. They were paying I think €50 each a month, which might seem a lot, but in terms of private healthcare, it's not. So you're relatively young, and hopefully you won't need to do that.
Yeah, well, like I say, we've looked into that, or the other alternative is to find, seek full-time employment, which fingers crossed, I've been speaking to a local company over there, and as soon as I get over there, they're going to offer me a contract to get into work, which will get me into the Spanish and the Spanish system for myself and the whole family. So, and that's why I need to get over there as soon as possible, really, and get started on that.
Yeah, and Wendy, you're hoping to teach in a school there, or do private teaching or something?
Yeah, I've just qualified and got my TEFL qualification, so I'm hoping whether it'll be like you said, private teaching or actually looking in a school there. The problem I've got is I don't speak Spanish. But I've been told that there are a lot of English-speaking private schools, so yeah, I'll be looking at doing some work there as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of international schools in Spain. It's the most highly evolved sort of international school country in Europe. So there's lots of options, especially in Alicante, and yeah. So yeah. I mean, you've just got to, the next steps are you've got to sell your house, and then hopefully, and you'll. Are you hoping, have you got any, because I've got friends in Manchester, and you seem way ahead in getting the vaccine. She thinks that she's 50 and thinks she's going to get it in March. What's your expectation?
Well, probably about the same. And they are rolling it out. Obviously, the most vulnerable first, and then they're rolling it down. And then the next thing, I think, I work in a school at the moment. So the next thing, I think they're looking at rolling it into key workers, care workers, teachers, key support staff and everything in schools, and then they're going to roll it out that way. But there's around us is probably 3 or 4 vaccination centres already set up within 20 minutes, and I think Tameside is one of the fastest growing vaccination centres in the area. So we're just waiting for it. We'll wait for the notifications when we'll just go put ourselves on the list, and then that's it.
Once you've done that, you'll feel a peace of mind, and you can be more likely to be able to fly out and everything, won't it? Because whether we're going to need a vaccination certificate or whatever, who knows? So
we needed all them to go out. We paid for all that in December. We lost all that money, didn't we? Because the whole family tested. We paid for all that. We all got the all clear, and we couldn't use them because they couldn't travel. So we lost a lot of money there. Lost a few £100 paying for the vaccine, the tests. So yeah, it's just, like I say, we have a problem like everybody else planning stuff, and you just can't put plans into place can't even pencil anything in because nobody knows what's going to happen within the next few weeks. I mean, look at the latest update is 20th, isn't it? I think they're looking at the reviewing to travel to Spain, but then I think it's got already put back to the beginning of February. So if they keep pushing it back and back, who knows what's going to happen? I don't think they can close Spain forever because they rely heavily and dependent on the rest of Europe going into Spain for the holidays and commerce.
Yeah.
So
I think that
I don't think they're doing it on purpose. I think as soon as it's safe to open, I think Spain will open the doors.
I think you're right.
When we do finally go over there, it'll be a case of Lee will, we're hoping Lee will be over there first, and then he will come back, fly over, and then he will drive, because obviously we've got to transport our 2 dogs. We had 1 at the time, now we've got 2, and also our parrot. So he will drive. So we've got to make sure that we can get over with the pets, the animals, and then myself and the 2 children will fly.
It's got a bit more complicated for pets, hasn't it? Now you haven't got the pet passport. So what do you have to do for a parrot?
You have to. Well, we had the 1 dog. So basically, she had the passport and everything was checked, and we were going to go out with. She was coming with us in December. We didn't know we were driving at that time. But now you have to. There's blood. You have to have blood checks. You have to show that you've got sort of like all your veterinary checks are all ready. So there's a lot more. And again, we're following the updates, and we're basically thinking, well, when we know we can go, we'll make sure we've got everything in place. We've just got the added cost now because we've got another dog. We went for a rescue Doberman, so now we've got 2 to take home. I think in the show we only had the 1, so
Well, he's from Cyprus, so he came with a passport, so that's not too bad.
He's got his European passport.
He's already well travelled, yeah.
He's an EU citizen. Brilliant. So, it must be very frustrating. You've got this wonderful house just sitting there. The weather's going to be warming up. So hopefully you will get out there, and you must feel, even more now after what's happened. It's just going to be such a tonic when you, such a new chapter for you.
Yeah. Definitely, like you say, it's going to be a tonic. It's just going to be leave the old life behind and start fresh. And it's going to take a nice deep breath when I get off that plane and start a new life, basically, when we get over there initially.
We're not frustrated at the minute because our timeline, we're still within it. July is when we wanted to go, and we can extend a little bit. So I think when it becomes June and there's still the restrictions, I think that's when we're going to have to start thinking, well, what do we need to do now? But even though we've got obviously the restrictions and the lockdowns, we are still within our time frame. So we're still planning as though it's going to be the July period, if albeit August is like the cut-off, then we'll start like moving on.
It gets a bit late.
Then we won't be happy.
And if you hopefully you will sell your house soon. You'll just kind of rent somewhere till if you have to have an interim place. Yeah,
like I say, the most important thing now is to sell the house. If we put everything in storage and live in a hotel for a couple of months, we'll quite happily do that. I think the next 12 months are going to be like just so manic. Once we get the all clear and the restrictions are lifted, it's just going to be chaos for the next, until Christmas, until we're finally finalised and over there. So we're just about ready for it. We're ready for the madness to start, eventually.
I think we're all ready for a bit of madness. Thank you very much. I think, that's been really interesting for everyone. And there's lots of uncertainty remains about the process, even in Spain. And I'm sure that from what I'm hearing, the authorities are going to be, they've had the pandemic to deal with, but they are going to come to make it easier, what we discussed. And we've got a Brexit webinar next week, which might be useful for you guys, actually. We've had a lot of interest in it. We've got the Spanish consul from Spain answering questions from people, as well as a couple of other experts. So we're hoping to answer a few of those questions. But as you say, there's still a lot that we're hoping will become a little easier in the next couple of months. So thanks again, and good luck with everything. I really hope that
Oh, you're all right.
that
Yeah.
we'll maybe catch up with you in 6 months, and maybe you can walk us round that lovely pool again, and we'll see.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
nice to have visitors there, even if you are just, you know,
Virtually.
virtually there. But we'll give you the guided tour, and fingers crossed, we'll be there. We'll get one-way tickets and fly out there.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we'd love that. I'm sure lots of people would love to see it. We wish you well. Thanks very much, guys. Take
Thank you
care.
very much.
Thank you.
Bye.